Good evening. Welcome again to another presentation of Glencoe's One-on-One with Brent. It was Brent, right?
Yeah.
And Glen via satellite this evening. We'll be trying something new. As has been noted in the past, Glen's face has not been testing very well. Even after covering his entire body, the reviews were still somewhat negative. We're going to try dialing him in from a secret location. Somewhere in the Middle East, I believe, where Glen is now living in a cage. If he doesn't do well, we'll have to leave him there. And Brent, the same fate may follow you if the ratings don't increase.
Well, nowhere to go but up.
Good day, gentlemen.
Thank you, sir. Glen, I'm picking something up on the voices I hear in my head. Glen, are you there? Hello.
Brent?
Yes.
Brent? Can you hear me?
I can.
Yeah, this is Glen. I'm here.
It's almost as though you're in the same room with me, just a few feet over.
It always feels like that, friend. It does. But I'm afraid I'm in... Oh, I'm far away. I'm in the Middle East.
Skype, am I right?
It's Skype.
Fiber optics.
Yes, I'm using...
That's a thing.
I'm using someone's computer here that I found.
Well, I'm going to stop touching my ear because I'm tired of it. And I think... Let me see. Can I still hear you?
Brent, can you...
Yeah, it's all fine. So, okay, I didn't need that after all. Okay, so, Glen, I'm glad you're still with us at least, so we can talk about some important developments in the season. When we last spoke, we were giving our predictions for the opening rounds of the NCAA tournament, and since then, our Cardinals pulled off the victory against UC Irvine and North Iowa University.
Northern Iowa, yes.
Northern Iowa, yes.
I heard the people in the town were talking about these victories.
Yeah, it's a big deal. So let's talk about the future. We have a Sweet 16 berth. We're going to be playing on Friday against NC State Wolfpack. Now, the Wolfpack is a team that has beaten us once already this year. But my feeling is Wolfpack's not going to beat us twice in 1 year. What do you think?
I would like to present it this way, which is that we have a great shot to win. Even though they beat us handily the last time, we're a new team now. And Patino will have plenty of time to get us ready to do what we need to do. And it's going to be great.
Well, yeah, I agree. He has nearly a week to get ready for this game. That's 5 days, I guess, to prepare for it. And when you give Rick enough time to prepare for the Sweet 16, good things happen. He's lost once in the Sweet 16 to a team that we will not mention. But other than that, his record in Sweet 16 is outstanding. Again, NC State, a fast team, powered by the play of Cat Barber, an excellent guard. So we're going to walk over them or anything. It's going to be a tough game. And it's possible NC State could win the game. I mean, as you know, they beat us pretty handily at home. But I just feel like you said, you've touched on, new team. What I was really struck by in the tournament, particularly the second game, the chemistry is there with the team now. You look at these kids and you can see that they like each other, or they're playing well together. This is the first time really all year where they've played like a team. You really feel was it a reindeer coming in? I hear bells. Anyways.
That's on my end.
That's on your end, right.
We eat them here.
Yeah, right. I think the chemistry is there, and I think that was the last piece of the puzzle. They're playing like a team. Terry is back. He's playing like he was back in January. Wayne is coming up with the big senior plays that we expected and wanted from big time Fat Wayne. And then you're also getting, Quentin Snyder has been ice cold, just ice water in his veins, just, an assassin out there playing so great as a freshman. And you're getting bench points from people like Jalen Johnson is rebounding. It's just a lot of great things are happening with the team. Wait, I feel like something's coming in. Oh, it's a cat. Hey there, Nick. How are you, friend?
Oh, cats. I wish we had cats out here, but...
He's showing his anus for the entire world to see.
Well,
why don't you come on over here, buddy? All right.
It's showmanship. To backtrack a little bit, I feel a good sense of pride that we were able to get through the first weekend.
Absolutely.
People counted us out. I mean, how many people picked us to lose in the very first round?
I don't think any pundits picked us to... We were, I believe, the top choice for an upset going into that first game.
But didn't matter. We took care of business in both games.
Absolutely.
we are coming together just at the right time. The momentum we have because we're a team on the rise after losing one of our best players.
Yeah.
Plus, just in terms of having a point guard that's from right here in Louisville, taking us to the limit,
Absolutely.
bringing it, giving it. I wish I were back in the city to experience it all with the rest of you.
Man, we wish you were here too, Glenn. It's been really great. There's a lot of good energy in the town.
I support Glen Co's mission. I mean, I have a vested interest in it. In fact, all my money is in it. But I just don't like the choices and decisions. There was nothing wrong with my face before. What's wrong now? I'm starting to get kind of concerned.
You sound like you're getting a little agitated about it now.
Do you have other topics?
Well, let's move on then. Okay, so let's say we get past NC State in the Sweet 16, which I think we have a good, strong chance at it. The 1 and the 2 seeds in our region have already folded.
Right.
Virginia and the good people at... Sorry, this cat is bothering me.
I felt its presence somehow.
I don't know. It's almost like there's a barrier that if you could have just crossed it, wow, that would have been really something there. Anyways, Villanova and Virginia, the 1 and 2 seeds in our region, have gone down, leaving a wide open region. People, of course, now picking Michigan State to win it all because it's Michigan State, and people look at Michigan State in the region and they say Tom Izzo, and they say, well, there you go. Michigan State's going to win it all. Louisville, even in light of the fact that we played very well in the first 2 games, still getting no love. You ask me, this is not your mama Spartans. I think we have a very good chance to get past NC State, get past Michigan State, and go to the Final Four.
And might I even say this? Everyone's completely dismissing Oklahoma, a team with size.
Yeah,
size
absolutely.
and shooting ability.
And they played well.
They played well. Michigan has lost, 11 times?
They have
Michigan
11
State.
losses on the years. They finished 3rd in the Big Ten.
Don't be so surprised if Oklahoma is the team that Louisville plays.
Well, I wouldn't be surprised a bit. I mean, the Michigan State are a 7 seed. And, again, they could have benefited from a lot of things. But, yeah, I would not be surprised at all to see a Louisville-Oklahoma matchup. How do you see it going down if that's the case? How do you think we match up with Oklahoma?
On the one hand, I want to take these games one at a time. I don't want to count chickens or jump guns.
Right.
We will beat Oklahoma. We would beat Michigan State. I feel very confident.
I'm really more scared of the NC State game than I am of those 2 matchups. Much like the Northern Iowa game was the one I had circled. If we could get past them, we can make it to the Final Four, and I still believe that's the case.
Well, then that's where I differ with you. I feel like NC State is the team that we have figured out. We didn't lose that game last month because of being unable to beat them. We played poorly, and
oh wait, I feel a disturbance in something's happened. The cat teleported out of the studio somehow.
A plane just went by. I don't know. I'm not seeing anything or detecting anything. I just know that NC State is the team that just caught us on a bad night. We're a different team now.
Oh, the cat teleported back in the studio. Great. Good to see you again there, Nick. Well, I agree. That's the case. That was a rough stretch for us there, and it was a different team. I do feel we will beat NC State, and I feel we will beat Oklahoma and Michigan State. I feel like we are Final Four bound.
I believe that the sea has parted, to continue to use metaphors, and we will go into the sea and not drown because that's magic. It's the Lord. So here we go.
In your expert opinion, let's say we get to the Final Four. Is it Duke that we're looking at? Is there anyone else at this point that you see could get to that game? Gonzaga.
Well, that's the thing about I would normally pick Duke. In fact, I picked Duke in my bracket, but Gonzaga now sort of seems to have a little bit of I don't want to use the word mojo, but let's call it mojo. This is mojo.
I don't care
Mo and Joe.
Think about what that might be. Well, moving on. The Final Four will be a discussion for next week, really. But let's just say I feel good things are coming for the Cards this year. Things are really shaken out much better than we could have ever hoped for.
And the Lady Cards are also in the Sweet 16.
Let's hear an update on the Lady Cards.
They beat some team in the first round. They beat South Florida in the second round, thanks to the heroics of Jude Schimmel, who came through at the end.
Mm-hmm.
Looking pretty strong. I'm sure that many people feel like we won't win it all because of Connecticut being so tough. But you can say the same thing about the U of L men, who would have to face Kentucky. But in both cases, we're not scared. We'll fight to the end because we're warriors, and good looking out.
Can anyone beat Kentucky at this point, Glenn?
They can. Kentucky doesn't necessarily look like a well-oiled machine, but they just have too much talent, and they've yet to be truly tested.
I get the feeling, I feel the same way. Cincinnati played them well for, a good 20 minutes or so. Maybe not quite that long. I feel they played them about as well as anyone could. They were limiting possessions and taking good shots, which I think is what you have to do. But you still get the feeling that even in close games that UK has had, if push came to shove, they probably have an extra gear they can slip into to guarantee a victory. They're just too talented.
The Cincinnati game was a good example. They played about as well as they normally could. Mm-hmm. They played the right strategy. The problem is they needed to play perfect. They missed all those three-pointers. Mm-hmm. If they hit three-pointers, maybe.
So three-pointers are the way to go. What about if UK ends up facing Wisconsin or Arizona?
Again, if they play a perfect game, I can see it. But
what about in West Virginia coming up? West Virginia, hard-nosed, Bob Huggins, tough boy team. Do they have a shot?
I could see that being a close game, but it's just on the defensive end, you've got too many giants to take care of any offense that West Virginia has. On the offensive end, there's going to be you're not going to keep someone like Towns from scoring 12 points, no matter what happens.
I agree. Well, let's not worry about Kentucky at this point. Let's just focus on the fact that we are in the Sweet 16 for the fourth time in 4 years, and we have a very good shot of going to the Final Four. Good times ahead for the Cards.
Yeah.
Glenn, do we have time to play briefly our quick game?
Very quickly.
All right.
Very quickly.
Could you tell us everything you know about Lehigh?
Oh, I believe it's pronounced Lehigh. Lehigh University. It's the home of Ralph Sampson, a 7'4" player from the NBA. He was never quite as good as they'd hoped he would be in the NBA, but he had a great college career. Lehigh Chicken Hawks is what they are.
Mountain Hawks.
Mountain Hawks.
That's closer than I thought you would get.
They are a great team. They beat Duke a few years ago in the tournament. They tend to shoot 42% from three, and they play a matchup zone that tends to confuse opponents because then they switch to a box and one during second half.
Okay.
Lehigh is very much in the state of Washington, in the county of Pulaski. So these are the main things I know.
Lehigh from Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. Mountain Hawks. And I don't think anything else you said was true. All right. Well, that's the game for this week. And good times ahead. Glenn, I do miss having you here in the studio. I hope you enjoy the company of the cat I sent through the dimensions to be with you.
That magical cat will warm my night. How was that, Orange Creep, if you're there?
He's
Glenn,
here.
your mistakes will no longer be tolerated. As usual, you were wrong about almost everything. You'll notice the bearded man standing outside the door of your cell with a spiked mace. You'll want to call him sir, and make sure you say please and thank you every time he brings you a meal and the bucket that you'll be shitting in for the foreseeable future.
Well, I can't leave. I can't.
I think you'll be staying there, at least until next week's episode. Mr. Stewart, shape up or ship out. I already have a ticket for you to the Middle East.
Do I have to go on a ship? That's going to take a long time.
You'll have lots of time to think about what you've done on your trip. So, that's it.
Fair
Gentlemen,
enough. Well,
do better.
I feel like probably I'll just lock the door so he can't come in here anymore. All right, well, Glenn, it was a pleasure to hear your voice again. I certainly hope you get to come back home soon.
I want to. Please bring me home somehow.
I'm losing you. You're breaking up.
Brent, I can't.
We've lost
The bucket.
All right.
No.
Difficulties. We are cutting off the signal.
All right, Glenn's gone. All right, well, folks, thank you so much for tuning in to this episode of One on One with me. Please check us out on Twitter at Glen and Brent. Please email us with glenandbrent@gmail.com. I think is what it is. If it's not, Danny will fix that right here. Check out our YouTube channel, 2 Men, 1 Couch, and our other programs such as Bits and Brews with Brent and Brian. Thanks and good night. Go Cards.